This is Kendra Karen, and I'm here with Mom and Dad Packard, interviewing them, asking them a couple questions. And we are in Telephone, Texas at Packard Oaks, and today is February the 19th, 2020.
Right.
Very good. Okay, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about my birth and then maybe Talmadge's. I was born in Meridian, Idaho, um, uh, July the 16th, 1936. And I celebrated my birthday 2 weeks earlier than that because that's my brother Bill's birthday. And Mom was that way. She would put them together to save birthday parties and save all the fuss and everything. And so it wasn't until I was 14 years old and I was going through the bundle of papers that Mom had for important papers, and there I found my birth certificate, or that was a hospital certificate, and there it was. And I says, I'm not going to celebrate my birthday anymore on Bill's birthday. My birthday is the 16th of July, and his is the 2 weeks earlier than that. What does that make that? 14th? No, 16th. 2 weeks earlier is the 2nd of July, I think. Anyway, so I changed and got all my important papers with that. We didn't know which ones of us were born in the hospital and which ones of us were not. And it wasn't until quite a few years later that I found out I was born in the home, in the bedroom. And that came out when we had a reunion in Meridian, Idaho. They were tearing down the house because what was their names? The people that purchased the land and the house. Anyway, they were required by law to tear down the house because you couldn't put two houses on one lot, and so they had to tear ours down when they got theirs built, and they were getting it. They had it almost all built, but they had to required to tear it down. And so my brother Bud called and says, "Hey, we got a problem here. They're going to tear our house down that we grew up in. What do you want to do?" And I've been kind of involved in reunions, and I said, "Well, I think we ought to have a reunion and see if they'll get us permission."
I did, honey, remember?
Oh, okay.
I said.
Anyway, we did. We really put it together. Really a good reunion. And we had all of the family there, but Bernie was on a mission in South Africa. Not South Africa, but
Yeah, it was South Africa, honey.
no, it wasn't Bernie.
That's missing present.
That wasn't Bernie, it was Bud. Bud was on a mission with his wife.
Nairobi.
Yeah. Anyway, we had a great reunion for 3 days, and we after the reunion, they had a high school reunion, and so we all got to attend our high school because about every one of the Packards graduated from Meridian High School. And so we had a great high school reunion, and by that time, all of the reunions of the high school, all four, were always the same time and combined. And so we got to have a great reunion. But anyway, we had a photographer couple that took movies.
Video.
All the videos we took, and we organized the stories of when we grew up. And they're all on these videos, and you all have copies of them. All of you children have copies of these videos that are so great. And in fact, they, I think, are all on the external hard drive too. And we went to each room, we told the story, and then the stories, and go from each child came up with their stories, and then we'd go to the next room, and they would come up with stories. And when we were in the bedroom there, well, the property had changed, so that Mom's bedroom, where I was born, had changed into the dining room when they added 2 bedrooms on the back of the house years and years ago. And In fact, those 2 bedrooms were added on when my father was in the prison camp in Japan, China, Shanghai, China. And anyway, we told all the stories, and then we went downstairs, the basement. We have a unfinished basement downstairs. We told stories down there. We out in the back, we told stories of the deep well and the cistern, and when we told about the fire that burned down the house almost, and that's when I got burned so bad. And when we were in the kitchen, we told, and when Dad was left for Wake Island, we told that story in the dining room, which was Mom's old bedroom, because that was my earliest recollection when I was 5 years old, being in that room where I was born. And that's where they announced that Dad was going to be gone for a year working on Wake Island, and it ended up 4 years that he was gone, 4.5 years, because he left about 7 or 8 months before Pearl Harbor hit, and he ended up on Wake Island, where it was captured the same day as Wake Island. The Japanese planes came over, and they held out for 16 days. Anyway, then we went outside down by the old barn, and by that time it was torn down, but we went out by the front yard and talked about the swimming hole because the Reidenbach Canal came through our property. But anyway, I was born in the house and lived there for all the way through school. I went to grade school, then Meridian High School, and graduated from Meridian High School. Because of my burns, I only had 3 years of high school and was able to get into college. And it's interesting, I got into college and I quit that too after 2.5 years, 3 years, and got into dental school. And 4 years of dental school, and then went to Alaska for 2 years, and came back and went to orthodontic school at Loma Linda. So I've had 9 years of college. Is what it ended up, and ended up with I still don't have a bachelor's degree. I ended up with a doctor's degree first, and then a master's, and so that's how it all worked out, and that's where I was born, Mom.
So Dad, how do you know how old your mother was when she had you, and what number in the family were you?
Well, I was born in 36, and she was born in 1896. 1896 would make her 40 years old when I was born. And I'm the 13th.
When you had your last, Mom.
And
Shane was 40 years.
Mhm.
You were 40.
I was the 13th of the family, 13th child of Mom and Dad's family of 17 children. And,
how many boys and how many girls?
Yeah, we had, I have a dozen brothers, and I have 4 sisters, so there were 13 boys. Interesting enough, when I was burned so bad, I was in the hospital 10 months, and I missed my junior year of Meridian High School. And the day I got out of the hospital was Friday the 13th of February. And so anytime there's a Friday the 13th that comes up, it's a very, very special day for little Bobby Packard. That's when I got out of the hospital. I got so tired of the hospital. Okay, Mom.